There is a song, Moira, that the sea whispers to the land. A song for pilgrims and for babbies going to sleep. Spirit, be with thee on every stream. In the trough of the waves, on the crest of the billows.
You remember it, don't you, Moira?
I've been putting off a Highland song for a while now, not because I thought it'd be daunting or bad, but simply because I wasn't really in the mood for it for a while. Well, thanks to a week of playing other games instead of playing the next game that I originally had planned for this review, I quickly ran out of time to get it done in a timely manner because I really don't want to rush games that I have planned. So a Highland song just kind of shot right up to the top of my priority list because of my self-imposed upload schedule. It was just short enough to get it done without rushing. That said, it's not a long game, but it does demand your attention. Oh, but Daryl, that's any game. Some games you can play with your brain half turned off and others you need to lock in. I would argue that this game is one of those games where while it's cozy, you still need to lock in. And while it's not heavy on the narrative, at least the initial overarching narrative, it is a game that would require you to play it multiple times if you want the full context of the story, as well as if you want to explore all of the hills, mountains, and secrets. So let's get into it. The gist of the premise of a Highland song is that you play as a young girl named Moira, who is running away from home out in the Scottish Highlands. She's running away because she received a letter from her uncle Hamish, urging her to come to the coast. If she can reach his lighthouse in time, a wonderful surprise will be waiting for her. Along the way, you can find many trinkets and secrets that build out the game's lore and world. The Steam page describes the narrative as not branching, but weaving. Also, thank you, Steam, for helping me summarize this game. As I stated earlier, playing through once gets you the gist, but subsequent playthroughs will give you the full picture. I restarted twice initially because I was struggling a lot with navigating the various mountains, and while I'll get to more about the gameplay during the gameplay section, I just want to take a moment to kind of just explain how irked I was on my third attempt. So this game is part platformer and part rhythm game, although I would argue it's more of a platformer than a rhythm game. The rhythm sections aren't forced, but they do speed up how long it takes you to get from point A to point B. They're typically marked by a deer grazing near its starting point. So by that point, when I was right there and the lighthouse was in view, I had one more stretch to go of that, if I wanted to do it. But I chose to do it because I'm like, let me get there a little faster. My health was low, so one trip and Moira is basically knocked out. And when you get knocked down this game, time progresses. So I was there day of the deadline. I was going to make it, but then I tripped, she passed out. I am now a day after the deadline. The good news is you can still get a satisfying ending, in my opinion, by just, you can take your time. You can get a satisfying ending even if you take your time. I don't know what happens if you're several days late, but that sense of urgency really made me want to get there to see what Uncle Hamish wanted Moira to see, which then triggered my fourth attempt. Thankfully, your previous progress and unlocked paths carry over into your next playthroughs, so it only gets easier each time you run. But you know what they say, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. So, take your time. Anyway, the narrative is kinda as straightforward as you want it to be, but just know that the more you explore, the more context you're given for everything. And trust me, you'll want that extra context for when you get to the lighthouse in time, because when I managed to do it, I was like, what? Wait, what? I have my suspicions for why what happens, but I won't spoil any of that here. The two characters you'll learn a fair bit about are essentially just Moira, the protagonist, and Uncle Hamish. You mostly learn about Uncle Hamish and how he is from Moira's own monologue and the letters exchanged between the two whenever you're resting overnight. But as for Moira, since it's just you and her the whole time, she makes a habit of talking to herself a lot. And because you get to know her so well and want to get her to her uncle safely, you're gonna do everything you can to ensure that she doesn't hurt herself on the way. Right?
Oh.
Listen, I did my best. She's made of glass. I say that as if I wouldn't twist my ankle falling from 6 feet. Platforming in a Highland song isn't hard, but it can be punishing, especially if you're overestimating a jump or her own jumping ability. Failing a jump can mean more time wasted getting back to where you were or finding an alternate route. Failing a jump can also mean you take damage, and if your health reaches 0, then she dies. Again, she just passes out really, and you lose a lot of time and still probably have to get back to where you were or find an alternate route. And failing a jump can also mean not dying, but she'll need to take time to rest to heal her wounds, so that, you don't die from a jump that you attempt later. On top of that, weather conditions can affect how quickly she can recover, if she can recover at all. If it's raining and you're out there in the rain, it'll either slow down how much she'll be able to recover, or she just won't be able to recover at all. Same thing if she's like too cold, or if it's too windy. If you choose to sleep in those conditions without a building to shelter you, or at least a comfortable spot under a tree or in a cave, it will affect her maximum health. At best, it'll drop a little bit. At worst, it'll drop a lot. But you also need to be careful where you take shelter. I had one point where I slept in one building, figured, okay, there's no one here, it's abandoned, whatever. It looks nice, according to what she said. So I sleep in there. And next thing you know, she hears voices in the middle of the night saying, oh, is she asleep? Yeah, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then you have options. Hey, do I stay and keep sleeping? Do I wake up, say who's there, or do I just book it? Best believe I booked it. I didn't care if it was the dead of the night. No, I'm getting her to her uncle. I thought I was okay. So is the game really that punishing? Sorta, kinda. Is it punishing for reasons out of your control? Well, aside from one bug where I seemingly fell to the world,
What the hell is that?
no. There are a lot of things that can help you on your journey, not just map fragments that you can find to help you find where you need to go or find shortcuts and specific items that can help you on your journey, but there are also other items that you can find on your journey that can make, like sheltering or helping people, possibly helping people along the way that you find, accomplish whatever they're trying to accomplish. I say that with a bit of a I don't really know, because I've only managed to help one person, because I just so happened to find a tinderbox just before running into her. The game is very interesting in that sense, where no two playthroughs will be the exact same, unless you want them to be, of course, and even then, you might just do something different on accident. The survival elements are pretty light in my opinion, since all you're really managing is Moira's health bar. Resting will refill the health bar, and resting in a cozy shelter or whatever, depending on the conditions of where you're resting, will increase your maximum health bar if it was decreased before. I think Inkle, the developer, made the right call by making it so that we only have to worry about Moira's health, rather than the whole 9 yards you'd expect from your typical survival horror game, from your typical survival game. That and completing the rhythm game sections that you have when you're running along with the deer, while they are not plentiful, or they're as plentiful as you want to approach them, I guess, since they're optional, they will possibly, I didn't really see anything that represented it, but they can possibly, I guess, level up Moira's running and climbing ability and whatnot, so she's not worn out as quickly. I couldn't really tell, but maybe her health bar did increase a bit more every time, but I had no way to really confirm that. She would just say that in a pop-up, I feel stronger now. One of those things, like Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness style. Now, before I wrap up this review, let me just state the obvious real quick. The game is beautifully animated, and the environment makes me feel like I'm running through a moving campus of some sort. Moving campus of some sort. I am tired. And on top of that, the Scottish folk music that plays during the rhythm sections are infectious to listen to. Beyond everything I mentioned, there's not much more to say about a Highland song. It was short, but a fun and challenging experience that I was not expecting at all, and it has a lot of replayability to boot. A Highland song gets a go for it from me, and you can pick it up on PC, Nintendo Switch, and Mac for $18. And with that, I hope you all have enjoyed your stay. I'm TUSDarryl, and I'll catch you all later.